Hello again everybody, thank you once again for joining me, Adam here at the Eden Audio YouTube channel. This morning we've had an extremely busy and an extremely heavy morning. And the reason that we've had such a heavy lifting morning is because these brand new loudspeakers have just arrived from the Polish manufacturer Pylon Audio. These that you see there in front of you are the new babies of the range. I've known about these probably for about a year that these were coming, but I think they were officially released just before Munich of 2025. These are available in one finish only at the moment, just like the Jade20s and the Jade30s. The Jade30 is the largest of the family, Jade20 is the medium sized one, and what you see there in front of you is the brand new Jade10, which is the smallest of the family. These loudspeakers will be ideal in smaller size rooms. Personally, I would recommend probably 10 to 15 or 20 square meters, where the Jade20 will work better in rooms that are probably 20 square meters. And the Jade30 probably will work much better in rather large rooms because they are a rather large size loudspeakers. So if you've got a small room, I definitely recommend going for the Jade10s because it'll give you much less problems in those deep bass regions. You know what big speakers can be like in small rooms. They can be a little bit problematic with the bass overpowering the room. So as I say, the Jade10s are ideal for sort of 10 to 15 square meter size room. The first thing I really noticed about these loudspeakers was the colour of them, which to me seemed, I must say, a little bit strange. They're only available in American walnut. But funnily enough, the Jade20s and the Jade30s are also only available in American walnut. But when you look at them, the tone of their wood is completely different to the Jade10. Let me show you. Here I've just moved over temporarily the Jade20. These will be going downstairs in the room that I'm currently converting because, as I say, they're probably slightly a little bit too large for this size room. But let's get back to the finish. As I say, if you notice there, it's a far more saturated colour wood. It's sort of a honey darker tone to that wood. But if I go back to the Jade10s very quickly, there you will notice the finish on the Jade10 is actually quite a little bit different. I'm gonna just double check what I ordered and what the specification of these loudspeakers are. As I say, I'm sure they're both American walnut, but as you can say, looking at the two, let me just go back to the Jade20 again. You can see the stark difference between the colour of them. The Jade20 is a much more saturated look to the finish of that wood, where the Jade10 there is a lot lighter. Which one do I prefer? I can't really say I've got preference, but they both look really nice. But the funny thing, or the strange thing that makes it even more peculiar, is if I come down here a little bit, you'll notice that with the Jade10 you can specify these stands with them as an optional extra. And if you look in there very closely, you'll notice that the wood tone of the stand is the same as the Jade20. Strange, don't you think? So you've got the stands that are the darker tone of wood, and then when you actually move up to the speaker, it doesn't actually match because it's a lighter tone of wood. Very bizarre. Not really sure why that is the case. I'll ask Pylon next time I speak to them. And as I say, there's the other stand. You can put CDs or little ornaments or whatever tickles your fancy. You can put them there in the stands. And there's the other Jade10. Now you may have noticed I've actually left the covers on these for the time being while I'm just doing this brief introduction, just showing them very briefly. As I said, they just arrived this morning. I haven't taken the covers off, and there's a very good reason why I haven't taken the covers off, and that is because they are extremely difficult to remove, as I found out when I first took delivery of the Jade20s. You have to be extremely careful when removing these. As if I show you, as if I going a little bit closer there, on the bottom here you'll notice this tag here. Now you're meant to pull on that One, that can be extremely easy to rip and break. And two, you have to sort of pull on here gently and pull the cover up towards you. You will notice when you first take delivery of these, there's a sort of a warning in the box about the covers and how you have to remove these covers very, very gently. As I say, when I found out, when I first got my J20s, I pulled on the cover and I broke one of the little nipple things that are behind the cover. So what attaches the cover to the frame of the loudspeaker, in each corner here, you have 4 little plastic nipples. And because they're made out of thin plastic, these nipples are extremely easy to break. So for anybody that's thinking of purchasing these fantastic loudspeakers, be very, very careful when you remove the cover, or otherwise you're going to be damaging those little plastic nipples that are behind there. So be careful, take that on board. Again, I think they look absolutely beautiful, whether or not you've got the covers on or you've got the covers off, whichever you prefer. These loudspeakers look absolutely fantastic. It's just a shame, I think, that the stand wood is a little bit different to the loudspeaker. Very odd. So what have I got matched? What am I listening to them with? What am I running them in with? I'm actually running them in with the rather fantastic Aune S17 headphone amplifier. This has been a massive success for Aune, this one. What we've got here, this is the Evo version, the updated version. And one of the little modifications that they made to the Evolution version was trying to get it to run a little bit cooler. I don't think it was a massive problem here in the UK because it doesn't get extremely hot here, so there wasn't a major problem regarding the temperature. I don't think personally. Didn't hear of any customers here in the UK having any issues with it. But I can tell you that the Evo version is definitely 100% running cooler than the first generation. If you notice there, this one's running at 52, 53 degrees, where the previous generation sort of used to get up to sort of 60, 61, 62 here in the UK. I don't actually use this as a headphone amplifier. As I say, I'm not a huge headphone listener, as you're probably aware, as I've mentioned it before on previous uploads. I am a loudspeaker man. I much prefer to listen to music through a pair of loudspeakers. I find it a little bit more engaging and realistic than listening through headphones. So I'm using the Aune S17 EVO as a preamplifier, and I've got that matched up to the, again, an extremely successful product for Aune, the S9 reference stack. It's an absolute killer for the price, and they match beautifully together, as you would expect, both being Aune components. And if I go down a little bit, I've got them matched up to that beautiful Audiomaxim MA 2300 Class D power amplifier. Some people like to know what cables I'm using. I do generally use DH Labs to connect everything up. It's the Q10 Signature speaker cable that you can just see there behind, that's running to the Pylon Jade 10's. Power conditioning is covered by Keces Audio. So there you have it. That's what's been keeping me busy this morning, unpacking those. So I've got a few pairs in stock. You're welcome to come along to Eden Audio to have a demo. I'm just running them in, and I'm running them in with that band there. Do you remember them? Aswad from the 80s. Absolutely brilliant band. British reggae band. Fantastic. Ideal for running in speakers like these. Really get those bass drivers running. Beautiful. Anyway, come along, have a listen to the new Pylon Audio Jade10s at Eden Audio. Thanks for watching, everybody. Take care. Have a great day. And don't forget, keep listening to that music.